I didn't even know I was an entrepreneur. Let's start with that. I didn't start off to be an entrepreneur. I started off, trying to get extra money to take care of my kids. And so that's kind of how my entrepreneurial journey started. It was about how I had done everything that the world told me I was supposed to do. I had gone to college, I had gotten degrees, I had a good government job, I had a good government job with benefits and all of that good stuff. And I just still wasn't making enough to take care of my family.
I love Waverly, and I love the things that we know that can happen in this community. And I know what this community needs. And I sought out the Greymount area because I know what Greymount needed, and they needed a bookstore.
Overall, I can't imagine another vehicle in America outside of entrepreneurship that would allow me to have had the journey and the trajectory that I now have for my life.
What we do is based in helping other people understand that they have a stake in society. That is the only way to make Baltimore the city that it could be. Everyone has to be able to play. Right now, we have a game where a small amount of people are getting to play, and we have hundreds of thousands of people on the outside looking in, and that anger and aggression that comes from not being able to participate is the single source of all of the issues and problems that we have. People feel like they don't have a stake in society, and we have to change that.
So funny because I say, yeah, I'm gonna have my own business. That way during the day, if I want to go to the gym and work out and play basketball, I'll just go and play. I have not even thought about that gym since I started being a business owner, okay? So it's funny because I think, well, definitely I've learned over the years that, being an entrepreneur, you definitely work harder than working for someone else, quite honestly.
We need platforms like this to be discovered. And that's not just for me, that's what I speak for everybody who is silent and who doesn't get an opportunity to be here, because I dreamed of stuff like this. I never thought that I would even be in business, almost 16 years later, because they say the average small business fails in 5 years. I tripled that.
Yeah, I always knew I was going to be an entrepreneur. I started my first business at 25. So I was self-employed at 25. I was a daycare provider, and that gave me my reason for serving God, family, and community. And that's why I'm here today, to serve. And I do it well.
Of course, my same advice would be to just do it. Even if it's something that you've never heard before or seen before. Stop looking for the approval of others. Most of the time, if you've not seen that somebody done it before, then it's probably going to be a little bit more, if it succeeds, it's going to be a little bit more better because you're actually the first person to do it. Like a lot of times people, like now, it seems like a lot of people are just waiting for the approval of someone else. Because how many times have us ourselves even seen something or invention come into play? And it's like, I thought about that. Why didn't I do that? You understand what I'm saying? You have to start somewhere, and why not start with yourself?
There is a certain point when you just have to make the leap, and that it's tricky because I know for me personally, I wasn't looking to, I didn't know that I was going to be starting a business. It presented itself in such a way where it was like, it was sort of the part where you have to ask yourself, do I want to be down the road and look back at this and say, what if? And I don't ever want to be in there. I never want to be in that position.
You need to be building up friendships and relationships with other people who you aspire to be like, in order to be able to, tap into that potential or their friends' potential.
It honestly took a lot of consistency. It took a lot of, dealing with myself and trying to tell myself just to keep going, that don't give up, and eventually people will come around.
You want to have naysayers all day, every day, and you got to block that out. Sometimes you even have to block out your own messages, those negative messages running in the background. You've got to block that out. But it really is just believing that you can do it, and also recognizing that in the moments when you can't, you just get up and you dust yourself off and you just jump back in.
Started to recognize that being 16, well, not 16 at the time, but 14 at the time, and doing smoothies, like no other young woman was doing it at the time, and it was different, and it attracted a lot of people.
As an entrepreneur, you just you can't be timid with things, right? You got to go for the gusto. I always tell people, why be a monkey when you can be a gorilla?
I have these 3 rules that is like my motto for kids who want to start a business, and they're called the 3 P's of starting a business. So if you want to start a business, the first thing you have to do is find a passion. Like Cameron's passion is making jewelry, my passion is cooking. Find a passion, because having a business is hard work, and if you're not passionate about it, you're not going to want to go with it. And also find a problem, because there's several different companies out there that it's probably like your idea, but if you find your why for it, like mine is empowering other kids. So that's my why, that's my problem that I'm trying to solve. And then the last thing is find a profit, which is how you're going to make money.
One of the things that got me to where I am is that I never said, I don't think I should do that. You know, I typically will try almost anything. And then once I try it, I'll say, okay, that might not be what's a fit for what I'm doing right now. But I think one of the things, the biggest thing in entrepreneurship that you shouldn't do is just don't quit.
I am sitting here and I'm trying to keep my heart in my chest, Miss Alicia. So that's
no, not Miss Alicia, I'm Alicia.
See me trying to stay calm.
Okay, all right, that's the calmness. The calmness.
You're good.
Okay.
Do not let the cover fool you into thinking that's all we're willing to do. Like, just because you see that we're putting, how can I put it? Because we don't know what we don't know, yes, doesn't mean that we aren't willing to work to know so that we can be successful. So if you have the resources to help little people like me, and you see that I am driving, you see that even though with a little bit of information I got, that I'm willing to help the next person, help me. Teach me how about logistics. Teach me about the proper way for dealing with cars. Teach me the right way to promote these things. Teach me and invest in me, because we have the ideas. We're the ones who, the small people are the ones who have the really big, unique ideas that a lot of people need, but we don't have enough voices telling people this is what it is. Miss Alicia, having platforms like this and reaching out to people like this, like I have no idea how you found me, but thank you for finding me.
Good afternoon, and welcome to this week's edition of Entrepreneurship Matters. My name is Alicia Wilson. I'm Vice President for Economic Development and Community Partnerships for Johns Hopkins University and Johns Hopkins Health System. And it is my pleasure to welcome you to this 100th episode, which means that Tracy and Dr. Bunyon are our 199th and our 200th entrepreneurs that we have interviewed on this platform. We know that successful businesses, successful entrepreneurs are not built in a day. It takes a lot of grit, a long-term commitment, sometimes multiple failures to make it happen. And the two amazing women that I am so honored to get to interview on this special episode are no different. They are both proud Morgan State Bears, and I'm going to give you their bios. But I want to invite them onto the screen. So Tracy and Dr. Bunyon, come onto the screen. I'm going to give their bios, and then we're going to launch right into an amazing conversation with these two entrepreneurs. First, I want to introduce you to Tracy Green. Her name is Tracy Vonte Green, thus the name of her company. She is the CEO and in charge of the overall design, finance, and direction of her company. She has amassed a strong professional career, which has developed her leadership skills, business and financial acumen, and has been involved in funding procurements as a budget analyst for the New York City Mayor's Office of Management and Budget. She wrote grants for the New York City Department of Health, managed financial managers, and helped oversaw the New York City public assistance budget of $6.1 billion. She has worked across New York in hospitals such as Harlem and Bellevue in key financial positions, and has served as the Chief Financial Officer to the Department of Education, School of Support Services, and at Health Plus Hospitals Corporation. Again, she's a proud Morgan State Bear, and you are going to see just an amazing leader in the eye care and eyewear industry. And so glad to have you on, Tracy. Such a pleasure to have you on Entrepreneurship Matters. You're welcome. You. And next, I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Mesheca Bunyon, a special eye care. She is a leader in optometry and co-owner of Special Eye Care, a community-based private optometry practice, and currently a staff doctor for Solomon Eye Physicians and Surgeons, both located in Prince George's County, Maryland. She is an expert in ocular health, eye beauty, pediatric eye care, and pre- and post-surgical ocular care. She is a proud graduate of Morgan State University with a bachelor's degree in chemistry and the Pennsylvania College of Optometry, now Solace University, with a doctorate in optometry. She is a leader and a current president of the Maryland Board of Examiners in Optometry, with focuses on protection of the public as it relates to eye care. She's also served as president of the Central Maryland Optometric Society, past regional trustee, and recording secretary for the National Optometric Association. You can tell I'm not a doctor. And member of the American Schools and College of Optometry Diversity and Cultural Competence Committee. Welcome, Dr. Bunyon, to Entrepreneurship Matters.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here on your 100th episode.
Yes. So let's get right into the conversation, which is what inspired both of you to want to be entrepreneurs. So I'll start with you, Tracy, and then Dr. Bunyon. What inspired you? Because you could be doing anything. Both of you are quite talented, clearly brilliant, but you're entrepreneurs and in a niche industry. So what inspired you to do that?
Well, I would say COVID basically had a big change in the world, and it also had a change on me. Mm-hmm. And I had a great job as a CFO at a hospital system, and working and making money and being happy. And then I lost a pair of glasses. And once I lost a pair of glasses, they were very expensive. When I went to get a new pair, they all looked the same. And then I also realized that most of the time I had a line on my nose and they hurt. And I said, really, they don't make glasses that fit my face. And I started to make some design, on paper, and called my best friend, who's my co-founder, Nancy Harris. and complained about it. And the entrepreneur that she is, she said, we can do this. And I was like, we can do what? And she said, we can create our own eyewear. I'm like, no. But, I think everyone has a great idea, but execution is the key. So to be an entrepreneur, you have to take that idea that you have and execute on it. And I would not be here today in front of you with this business if I didn't lose my glasses, if I didn't complain about it, and then I had a great friend who made me execute on it.
I love it because you turn pain into passion and into purpose. And the beauty of what you just said was how a friend, the right friend at the right time, can turn that into the purpose, right? And so beautiful story. Dr. Bunyon, what inspired you to want to be an entrepreneur?
Well, this is a great segue into when you say how Tracy's friend fueled their purpose or her passion into purpose. Well, my friend and husband, shout out to Dr. Lamont Bunyon, is who really inspired me to even think about entrepreneurship. It wasn't something that I thought about coming out of optometry school in 1999. Then it was just more or less, I am tired of school. I just want to find a really good job and keep moving on. And at that time we were dating, but my husband, he came out of school wanting to be an entrepreneur right away, starting to lease companies. And then in about 2003, that's when we actually started talking about having a private practice in Prince George's County, which is the wealthiest Black county in the country. Yeah. And we realized that there were no other African American private practices in this area. And we've been thriving ever since 2003.
Wow. So, really, both of you, what's beautiful about both of your story, you saw a void in the marketplace. And particularly that void was around people like you, right? Black people with your face shape, all those things, beautifully said, and really beautiful how you created your business. So let's say you have a great idea, both of you have great ideas. That doesn't mean you have a business, right? So take us through the steps that you went through to start your business. And let me tell everyone who's watching, I see all of you on Facebook. Thank you for tuning in. Please put your questions in. I'm already getting them into the chat. Those of you who are in Zoom, you put your questions in the chat. Those of you who are listening on the phone, you can type your questions 22333, type JHUWL in the message, and I'll get all of those questions and weave them into this conversation. But Tracy, I'll start with you. What were the steps that you went through to start your business?
A lot of steps. Because I have a financial background, the first thing I wanted to do was to put together a business plan. Mm-hmm. And basically really look at the financials, right? I knew how much glasses cost. I did a lot of research on, what the purchase price would be to make them and manufacture them. My business partner and I, Nancy, pre-COVID, we went to Paris to Fashion Week. We went to a big eyewear summit to research, is this doable? Should we even be in this business? And after walking 3 football fields of eyewear and looking at all the designers, there were absolutely no African-American women there.
Wow.
And that was our aha moment to say, hey, we have to do this, right? They're not making glasses for our faces. I've been wearing glasses since a teenager, and they always were not long enough, or the bridge in the nose is not wide enough, or temples are not long, or the cheeks are too tight. I have chubby cheeks.
I'm in the club.
Yeah, so we knew that glasses were not made for diverse faces. Yeah. But we needed to know, were we the right people to do it? So we did a lot of research. We looked at cost, manufacture. We have to call companies overseas. We have companies in Paris and China and Italy that we work with. So we had to do all this research. And the funny part was that some of those guys thought we were actually stupid because we did so much research, they would come back with astronomical prices. And we said, that's not the price. We know the price. Mm-hmm. But if we didn't do our research, we could have been swindled. Yep. So, it was good that we did all that research first. It took us a year before we actually started to produce glasses. But being that I've been wearing them and I love them forever, I felt it was a natural progression. And with the finance know-how that I had, and working with Nancy, who had great marketing skills and sourcing know-how, we were able to put our heads together and say, we can do this. But it did take a lot of research. It didn't happen overnight.
No, I love that. And I took down notes on what you said. I really put up, so I have 6 points that you made for people taking notes on Tracy's points. First, you started with the business plan, really thinking about the financials, the research, and I think you stressed research throughout your story of how you started your business. Research on cost, manufacturing, supply chain, market, going to the summit, looking at the fashion, going to Fashion Week in Paris. I could have gone with you if you wanted me to. Seeing the void again in the marketplace, and then allowing for calling companies and understanding from a very fundamental level, like what would it take, and allowing for that, not for you to be taken advantage of when you start producing. You know the answer to the questions you are posing, and so you're not being taken advantage of. And then leveraging all of the talents that you brought to the journey, right? Your finance background, Nancy's marketing background, nothing was wasted in the work that you had done up to the point when you're starting your entrepreneurship journey. Love how you just said that beautifully. Dr. Bunyon, how about you? What did you do? How did you go? Your husband is like supercharged. She's starting the business from
graduation. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. We just got married, we're having a baby. Like, what are you talking about? So they're definite, prior to actually opening a business, we had great mentors. Shout out to Dr. Teresa Grillo. She had a practice in Montgomery County. And so we had someone to kind of, where my husband worked, and she was a mentor to me as well. But we had someone to kind of coach us along on how to do things. Back in 2000, 2003, 2004, times were a little bit different. We did not come out of school knowing the financial aspect of starting a practice. So there definitely was a lot of research with optometric practices. Of course, yes, we have a service. We're eye doctors, but we also had to figure out, okay, how were we going to make money? So then we had to look at the whole product side. So purchasing products. Of course, now we have Vonte eyewear, but back then, there weren't a whole, there were options, but there were, we had to really invest money in buying those things. And, to do eye exams, we needed equipment, very, very expensive equipment. We were able to cover, of course, our rent and most of the other items with savings, but then we had to learn about taking on loans for these big machines and the technology that we wanted to offer here in Prince George's County to our patients. So a lot of research and definitely learning about the financial aspect of opening a practice.
Excellent, excellent. I took down notes on you, five big buckets that you talked about in your building of your business. One, beautifully said about mentorship and having how vital that was to have someone. Second, coaching you through the building of the business and the building of the substantive part as well as the infrastructure. Third, the research on the optometric practice. Fourth, thinking about revenue sources. Really a beautiful thing, because you think about, one, there's one source of income from actually the care rendering, but there's also products that are associated with it, which led us to fourth, your product, the investment that would need to be done in that. And then thinking about the loans and the building of capital. That leads me to a great question that someone has posed on Facebook, which is, how did you think about raising funding for your business? So I'll start with you, Dr. Bunyon, then Tracy, how did you, we talk about access to capital and raising funding. How did you do that in the beginning?
We did not. It was strictly from saving. Both of us had I had a really good job. I was employed from the very beginning. I had these amazing high earning opportunities. We have real estate together, so leveraging those things as well as our savings. But in the beginning, no, we did not take out any business loans. Now nowadays, I probably would not say to use all of your savings to start a business. So now I would say, hey, there's money out here, there are grants, there are opportunities that we're still looking for, even now here in 2023. But back then, no, we didn't know much about this. So we utilized our savings, and with prayer, we knew that things were going to be possible for us to be successful.
Absolutely. A lot of people talk about the multiplication of prayer with a savings account, because that's usually what we hear entrepreneurs on here talk about. Tracy, how about you? How did you finance in the early days, raise funding for your business?
So very similar to Dr. Bunyon. Nancy and I had great jobs. I was a CFO. We also own real estate. I'm a finance person. I had a tax business. So I had a couple businesses before I got to this business, but we used our own savings. Me and Nancy pulled our money together. Nancy also has some property, and we just basically said, let's pull some money together to get this started, and then we'll pay ourselves back. Of course, we have not paid ourselves back yet. We have not raised funding. We have, because I wrote grants, and Nancy and I really applied for a lot of grants in the last 3 years that we've been in operation, and we have won a lot of them. So that's been helpful as well. It's very difficult for a Black woman business to get a loan. We went to a couple banks early on because, again, we did not want to use our own savings, but we couldn't get it. We would hear things like, you don't have proof of concept. And I'm like, people have been wearing glasses since the beginning of time. What do you mean we don't have proof of concept? But funding Black women businesses is just not common. And if they did want to give us money as a loan, the interest rate was so high. So we had to rest on our savings. We had to apply to a lot of grants. And now we are finally at the opportunity that we are starting this year, 2023, to look to raise funds. And that's mainly because we are ready to scale. We're on Saks Fifth Avenue online now. We have a partnership with Nickelodeon, and we have the Army and the Peace Corps and other entities reach out to us to create glasses, but because we can't scale, we had to turn those down. So that's our next phase. But I tell any entrepreneur out there, you do gonna have to pull in your pocket and put your own savings in, try to get a line of credit. We got one of those halfway through. That helps as well. But again, you have to pay back interest when you have all those things. So you have to be, making some revenue, and it takes a while to get revenue in. So it's a process. In eyewear, you do all the upfront costs, and you get paid after you create them, after you ship them, after you make them. And then every purchase order is net 45 to 60 days. So it's a whole new lesson that you learn when you're an entrepreneur. Instead of, you get a paycheck every 2 weeks, we might not get paid for 60 days. So how do you survive? And that's a crucial part that entrepreneurs have to learn how to weave and learn how to work that in.
Yeah, Tracy.
I would just like to piggyback and say that the beauty of having a partner, my husband, Dr. Lamont Bunyon, was that he was able to work full time in and on the business, while I was able to still work outside the business, but still help him inside the business. So, we did have money coming in because we realized, and we want entrepreneurs to know that in the beginning, you are not going to be able to pay yourself. So you do need to find sometimes some other way to leverage some funds. If you're not raising money or getting grants, then you may have to work part-time while you are still funding your dream.
No, I appreciate you saying that, Dr. Bunyon. Tracy, your transparency is so good, because we had so many entrepreneurs who come on here and say, I still have a full-time job, and I'm doing my business, and I'm working in my business, or I'm scaling. I'm going from a part-time to a full-time to a part-time. But that's as I'm able to scale my business. I'd love to piggyback on something that Tracy said, because I think it's just helpful. We always have bankers watching, institutions watching of varying size. And so the thing that in our pre-show that struck me was the purchase order from Nickelodeon, which is huge, like
huge.
Bravo, like huge, game changer. And the fact that there's a Nickelodeon shades. You have changed shades 3 times, I think, since we've been. I think it's
for our kids, SpongeBob.
I love it. I love SpongeBob. I love it. But you couldn't get a loan on the purchase order from Nickelodeon. And we talk about access to capital. We talk about what is like an indication that the risk is very low to give you money to apply capital in your business. I'd love for you to talk about that for a second, because I think it's helpful for those who are in positions where they are, we talk about the gap, the lack of investment. That investment could be game changing for your company.
Yes.
So can you talk about that for a second?
Yes, and I'll keep showing our collection as I change. And again, it's just fun. So yes, we were so excited. You can imagine me and Nancy were jumping up and down. We got this great opportunity. Nickelodeon loved the fact that we're one of the first to really put designs, patterns on glasses, right? And they're very colorful and they're vibrant, and they wanted that for children's glasses. It's a natural progression. We were excited. We're the first Black woman owned and operated company to get a licensing deal with Nickelodeon. So we're like, we made it. We're going to be rich tomorrow. Didn't happen. So even with the purchase order, the banks were like, well, who's buying them? Who's selling them? Where's it going? So they asked all these questions, and we're like, we're going to have distribution. We're already in Nickelodeon resorts. We're in 2 in DR in Mexico, and we're waiting for the others to make orders. They have 18 resorts, around the country. We're also selling to optical shops like Dr. Bunyon and other stores who buy our glasses. And now we're on Amazon, and we will be hopefully in Walmart selling the children's glasses as well. But again, they want all of that up front. And I say to them, but we have the purchase order, we have the designs, we're going to have to make money. And again, I don't know if they do this to everyone, but we know for our fact, for us and several other business partners that we know, Black women businesses still get questioned more. Yeah. We need to show if we had every dollar already, we wouldn't need the loan.
No, that's right.
So that was my answer to the guy at the bank. I said, well, you're asking me all this stuff. If we had it already, we wouldn't need the loan. We're ramping up for distribution. We have to make the glasses. We have to send them. We have to ship them. But the steps that you have to go through to get a loan is very detailed. I mean, they asked for my personal taxes, my husband's personal taxes. I had to give all this information, and at the end of the day, we still didn't get the loan. So it's a lot, because the credit is on you. Yeah. And at this time I have a son who was in college. I was not going to put my house up for escrow, right? Yes, against the business. Right. So these are the type of things they ask you to do. And I'm not sure they ask everyone else to do that. Yeah. So I can't speak to other businesses, but I know it was very difficult for us. And then we did find a loan through one of the city programs in DC, which was great. And they gave us a great loan at a low interest rate. So that's the one loan that we have to date, which helped us produce the glasses for Nickelodeon.
So I'm hoping people watching, those bankers watching, those investors watching are like, I can't wait till I get their emails and their .coms and all the contact information, so I can call them and say, I don't know who's not been returning your calls or who's not been offering you a line or a loan, but I'm here to do that. So that's our prayer for after this call. That's what's going to flood in for both of you. One question I have is in dovetailing off that, and I'll start with you, Tracy, and then Dr. Bunyon, which is, how have you overcome people underestimating you as an entrepreneur? People always deal with that. It doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur, it's just the underestimation in life. How do you overcome that?
Well, I would say I had to overcome that my whole life. Being a Black woman in finance, I got my master's in public policy and public administration. I worked at the mayor's office. We were always maybe 1 or 2 Black people in the whole unit. Yeah. So I was always underestimated. So every job I've had, I had to act like I didn't see it. I worked for a big Fortune 500 company. I worked for Accenture. I was the only Black person on a lot of the projects there. And the partners would come up to me and say, "Can you get me my coffee?" And I would say, "Well, I'm a consultant on this gig, but the secretary is over there." And I would just keep talking and say, "Hey, you need help with anything else?" And I'm doing the financial forecast. So as an entrepreneur, I think I've dealt with it so long that now I just, when people say, "Well, how are you guys going to do eyewear?" I'm like, "We're doing it."
Yeah.
And or how did you do the research for sizes? We measure people's faces, right? We have friends who look like us and all different colors, Hispanic, and I have Japanese friends. They have hard times finding glasses that fit, and we measured them. "Can we measure you?" I asked the question. 99% of them always said yes. So when people underestimate us, it's kind of like, "Oh, how did you get the pattern on the glasses?" We found a manufacturer that could do it. We ask the questions, we tell them what we want, and we do it. So being underestimated as a Black woman is like every day. I think it's every single day. You just learn to either not see it, gloss over it, show them what you could do, and just keep moving.
Yeah, no. My dad used to always say, "You gotta show them." You gotta show them. That's the only thing. You just have to show them. Dr. Bunyon,
Alicia, I was going to say the same thing. My grandmother would say, "You got to show them better than you can tell."
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And I think I was probably underestimated when I was in optometry school and, in a school where there was not a lot of diversity. But coming to Prince George's County, I call it the Wakanda of the country.
You have arrived.
Yeah. Not so much that I've arrived, but I just feel.
Coming to Wakanda.
You feel a sense of, yes. You feel a sense of comfort. It's a lot of us here. So luckily I don't have to deal a lot with the other and the naysayers telling me or making me feel like I can't do something. I feel like my husband and I were both out in the community a whole lot. We're respected in our communities. So I don't get a lot of that, but you do. Unfortunately, you do. Sometimes you get some of us that are kind of underestimating you as well. And again, we just show them that we, what we're here for, how we're serving our communities. We're trying to be the best doctors that we can be.
Absolutely. And what's beautiful about that, Dr. Bunyon, I love what you said. Tracy, I see you modeling over there. There are so many of us, and you're so right. Someone's always saying, "Do you know of a Black so-and-so doctor? Do you know of a Black dentist? Do you know a Black?" And there is a culture to want to know the excellence that comes with the journey that you've had to be on. To be at the level you are at means that you are excellent. So there's no underestimation, and everyone that gets it. Everyone that does it, you can't teach it at this point. It's too hard to teach what is right before your eyes. I love this question that came in on someone texted into us, which is, how do you both? Well, let me just say, both of y'all are so connected. Like, I've heard about both of you before I even saw you. So I was like anticipating the interview, anticipating the prep. How have you used your social networks, your mentorship to accelerate your business growth? Because you both have you are leaders, and your best days are still ahead of you, but you have had tremendous growth. So how have you done that with your networks or with your mentorship? Tracy, I'm gonna go to you. I'm gonna see 3 more glasses in a second. Hello.
Yes, we have so many. We have men and women, so I just want to make sure the guys know we got you as well. We have a lot of women's styles, but we also have men's styles. I would say mentorship, networking is the number one thing to do. I think I'm a natural networker. Again, I just constantly, I email people, I follow up, I call them. We have a great mentor who's been in the business for generations. And he found us and he just wanted to work with us because he wanted to support, a Black woman business. And working with him has been amazing. So again, I think we open ourselves up. We don't come off that we know everything. We know we don't know what we don't know. And we ask a lot of questions. And I'm not afraid to say, hey, Dr. Bunyon, what's happening in your shop? Do you need this? Do you need that? When we met her at another event, we were like, what do you need from us? What can we do? Right. And even though we start out with a line, we take feedback from all our optometrists. If you can make glasses that look like this, if you can make, so in our next spring collection, we're making those glasses based on feedback that we got from the people that mentor us, that we work with. So networking is important to listen, and say, hey, what are you looking for in eyewear? We don't come across that we know everything. We say, hey, what do you want? What can we make it better for you? What sizes do you need, right? What sizes do you don't have? And I think by asking the question and making everyone feel a part of Vonte, every person we work with, I think they all feel a part of Vonte. Because I'm not here by myself. I'm here because the optometrists need us, right? When we first started, Nancy and I wanted to be retail only. We thought we was going to break the internet. And then we had to come to realization like, hey, we need to make other ways to make money. So we started a wholesale. And that's when we met the optometrists and all the optical shops. And then, we realized, oh, we can do licensing. That's when we started about the Nickelodeon. So you have to look as an entrepreneur, different ways to make money, as well as different ways to mentor and network with different people so you can make money.
Yeah, no, I love what you just said, which is a key point, especially for our entrepreneurs watching. A responsive brand lasts the test of time, right? Every brand that has been able to last 20, 30, 50, 100 years has been able to listen and respond to the market. And that's just what you said, right? Your next line is responsive to the market.
Yeah.
And that will always give you an edge up. And I think that's what you get when you have Black women entrepreneurs. You are listening and being responsive. That's how we live life. We have to respond to we have to adapt to how the world is and not how we want it to be. Dr. Bunyon, how about you? How have you been able to use networks and mentorship to accelerate growth?
Well, like I said, I've worked outside of our practice for some big retailers. And I can tell you, without, of course, saying their names, I can tell you the things that we did not want to be. And I can tell you the things that I was hearing from patients outside of our practice, what they wanted. And so we aspire to do that. Our mission is professional eye care with a personal touch. You are not going to go anywhere in Prince George's County. I would probably suffice it to say Maryland, maybe other places in the country. And, your doctor may be there to greet you. Your doctor is out on the floor helping you to find key eyewear pieces for you, like Vonte eyewear. Your doctor is going to sit there and explain things to you, not be in and out of the room and think of you as a number. We are building relationships in our practice. So in terms of networking, yes, I'm proud to say I am a part of my sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. I'm a proud member of Jack and Jill of America. I'm currently the vice president of Jack and Jill of America, the National Harbor chapter. And those organizations, I love the people that I'm in those organizations with. So that networking has really helped to grow my business. I don't sell my business going into these organizations, but they see a need. They want to have quality eye care. They're like, oh my gosh, you're a Black eye doctor? I've never met a Black eye doctor. So I'm going to come to you. And then they bring their kids to me, and then their parents and their grandparents, so networking and I actually feel like I need to do a better job in networking. Sometimes we go to events. My husband's the president of the 100 Black Men of Prince George's County. We go to events and I rarely have cards because I feel like I don't want to necessarily sell myself. So I could do a better job of that, definitely. But networking it can definitely help to grow your brand and your business.
No, absolutely. And I've I'm a lawyer, full disclosure. And one of my mentors used to say, the best networking is that work that's on your desk. The good work that you do is going to get you more good work. And so to your point, right? You get the grandmama because you service the daughter well, service the son well, you get the children. And so that is a ripple effect of being and have those really strong ties to your business as an entrepreneur. I love to stick with you, Dr. Bunyon. Then we'll go to Tracy. Tracy, somebody say, how many glasses do you have? I'm gonna get to that question. Somebody did ask Facebook. They say, how many glasses does Tracy have? How do you manage feelings of doubt, anxiety, or overall mental health as an entrepreneur? And that's a real question. You know, COVID bubbled up a lot of things. Mental health is one of them. How do you manage those things as an entrepreneur?
Taking breaks. I'm not a big exercise person, but I do walk every day. We got a dog during COVID. And for me, even just having and they say that pets are, they're very calming to the spirit. But now I get to spend just about every morning walking my dog and just thinking about things and, creating my affirmations and just starting my day off. So that's probably walking, exercise, taking time out. Those are things that I kind of do to help jumpstart my day. I was just telling my son yesterday, my son's a freshman at Hampton University. And I was telling him yesterday, I said, he said, Mom, how was your day? And I said, you know what? My day was great. And it's always great when I can begin a day of prayer and just starting on a note of positivity. And I told him that when I'm rushing and rushing and rushing, and when I don't do those things, I almost always or almost never have a good day.
Yeah. No, you are so right. Beautifully said. I see in response to I see the Delta glasses coming out for Tracy. How do you, Tracy? We have seen 12 glasses so far. How do you manage feelings of doubt, anxiety, overall mental health as an entrepreneur?
So I think I'm very type A personality. So I really never really doubt myself. I think I can get overwhelmed. And I think that can, as an entrepreneur, because you're just trying to do so many things. You do all the jobs when you're an entrepreneur. We're the shipper, I'm in my basement warehouse. We do everything, every step. But for mental health, I think I work out. I was diagnosed with diabetes at the end of 2019, I think right before COVID. It's a rare form of diabetes. I have type 1 and type 2, which is called 1.5. I had to take insulin. I had to change my whole life. And that really pushed me to say, okay, I'm not going to let anything stress me out because I couldn't because of the diabetes. I had to make sure I had a work-life balance, which you never did when I was a CFO. So being an entrepreneur, I forced myself to, in the morning, I'm not looking at emails. I'm working out. I won't look at my phone until after 8:30. So if I'm up at 5:36, but even if it's a walk, it's a treadmill, it's the Peloton. My husband got me that gift. It was the worst gift. Who gets you a Peloton for your birthday? But it was great. I needed it. But yes, so that bike, it hurts your butt. But once you get used to it, it's great. But yeah, so I work out and it's not fun. I don't like to work out, but because of my life change, I had to. And by doing that, it's part of meditation. It's me time. And I actually get to think about what I need to do for the business for the day or for the week. So, it's kind of setting me up for my day, kind of like what Dr. Bunyon says she does with her prayer. And it's focusing on me and my health, because if I pass out, if I'm not healthy, the business can't, be as successful as it needs to be. So, and I want to be able to be there for my business partner. And so it's really helpful. So that is, I think once you get your meditation on and you're either working out, you're praying, whatever you need to do for yourself, then you're present for your customers, for your family, for your job, for anything that you do. I think we rush too fast to the phones and the emails. It'll be there when you finish. That's my That's my thing. I say to myself, one thing at a time, Tracy. You only could do one thing at a time and it will be there.
That's right.
And I think that has really helped me, that mantra, one thing at a time, it will be there when you finish.
Yeah.
That helps me stop myself and not rush and do stuff.
Yes. I think the fictional fire engine that you think is out there is a fiction, right? So you don't have to rush. If we were fighting fires, we might have to rush because the whole thing we're not fighting fires. And so there is a need to calm and everything. I love this question that was posed on Facebook, which is, what's the best advice you've ever received about being in business? Both of you talked about mentorship. Both of you have talked about coaching and having research. What's the best piece of advice? I'll start with you, Tracy, because I know after I pivot from you, we're going to get another glass. So what's the best piece of advice you've ever received about being in business?
I think it's okay to say no. So we've been, people approach us for a lot of things. And one of our mentors said, listen, you don't want to owe a lot of people, right? So what kind of business do you want to have? That's the question. And if you want a business, of course, you can make billions and billions of dollars, but how is it going to be managed? Do you really have ownership when it gets that level? Or do you want a business that you still manage, you're part of, you're building a legacy? So those type of questions from our mentor and us focusing on what kind of business we want to have. We give back. We partner with Women in Need. It's a huge homeless shelter system in New York City. And we give glasses back because, again, glasses is a medical necessity. It's not just for fashion, even though I like to look good, but it's a medical necessity. I cannot see without my glasses. And we wanted to be that type of company that gives back. So we give glasses to homeless shelters, to kids, women, men living in these places. Because when you move to a shelter, for whatever reason it is, domestic violence, you had a fire in your home or whatever it is, the first thing you lose is your glasses and you need them. So we decided early on what kind of business we wanted to be. And I think that was one thing that really focused us on how to move forward.
That is beautiful. We have to, I'm nodding to the team that's behind the scenes. We have to get Tracy connected to our Vision for Baltimore program. And Dr. Megan Collins, who is, we give out free glasses to all the kids in Baltimore City Public Schools.
We got you.
So we have to connect and see how we can support you and think about all sorts of ways. And Dr. Bunyon, I got you on. We're going to bring you in the fold too. It's on that. I just thought of that. That's a beautiful. I love those glasses. So what's the best piece of advice you've ever received, Dr. Bunyon?
Let's see. We've received a lot of advice. Probably the one that sticks out to me is be honest and true to yourself. I've worked in an industry where, especially the retail side, where, people are really being taken for, they've been taken for a lot of money, the whole bait and switch type of thing. We realized we didn't want to be there. We're not trying to be Walmart Optical or any of these other opticals. We want you to come in, what you see is what you get. So really to be honest and true to ourselves as well as to be to other people.
No, I love it. And I think, you built a brand, built a business. I know your phone is ringing off the hook of just being superior service and being true to who you are. So beautifully said. Okay, I do have to ask the question. Somebody's asked it 3 times. How many glasses do you own, Tracy? How many
So
pairs?
our collection, we have 40 pairs of adults, and we have 13 kids with the Nickelodeon brand. So we have in Vonte alone, we have about 53. I personally probably own over 100 pair of glasses from over the years of, you always get that one new pair every year. And I always keep them and I just keep going. And so I've been wearing glasses since I was a teenager. So, but I don't wear the other ones anymore. I only wear Vonte.
Only Vonte. So many people in the comments on Facebook, and we're going to make sure you get to see all of this, both of you, Dr. Bunyon and Tracy, how many people are just talking about how much they love both of you and just how amazing you both are and how inspiring this conversation is. So we're gonna make sure you get all of your roses as a part of this. Great conversation. Let me, I have checked with the team, and for the 100th episode, we're so glad that Ms. Winfrey is watching. So this is a question we get to pose only when she watches. So this question is, Ms. Winfrey clearly is an investor, an entrepreneur, I'd say a brand, an entrepreneur, a huge, right? And there also are people who are, consumers watching, right? They need glasses, they need eye care services. Thinking about that range of folks watching, what's the advice for all of us on how we can support businesses like yours to exist, to thrive, to multiply, and to scale, Tracy, as you said, as huge businesses in our community? So I'll start with you, Dr. Bunyon, and then Tracy.
Just, for us having a service with products, but we're mostly service first, because we sell glasses, but we are really promoting eye care. To just keep supporting us. There of course is a big talk about health inequity. Who better, and I'm speaking to African Americans, who better knows your health than doctors that look like you? So I would say definitely to continue to support us. I know here at Special Eye Care, we just opened a satellite office, our second location. We moved the other one 3 times, and now we're on our second location. So we are, I'm in the phase. Huge. Yes, thank you. So I'm in the phase of really trying to grow this particular practice, because they're both different. This one I'm probably is probably going to be more of me trying to grow it. I always had this, of course we have high-end eyewear. It's a cute little place, very chic, girly looking. But really my passion has always been children and special needs children and adults. And a lot of people have said to me over the years, you cannot build a business like that. Seeing kids, you are not going to make money. But when we chose this location, I didn't think about it. But what is down the street from me, a couple blocks away, is Children's Hospital. So I am going to make it my point now. Now I'm fired up after this 100th episode to go over there, take some cards, really network with some people, because they don't have eye care over there. So just keep trusting us here in Prince George's County and in Maryland. And, hopefully we're looking to expand. In my mind, I would like to expand, of course, to other states, have a special eye care there as well.
I love it. And I love your focus on children and children with special needs, because that is a market that is not served. And if you fill that void, as I'm on the board of Kennedy Krieger Institute.
Oh, I love Kennedy Krieger.
Yeah, so I am one of my passions is around young people and children. It is where my heart is. And there are barbers that are making their whole business about children with autism, and they are killing the game. Like, they are hairdressers that specialize in serving that population. And just God bless you. You can't even imagine what will happen. And so that's a beautiful thing for you to be doing. Tracy?
Well, I would say you have to make a conscious effort. You have to be intentional.
Yeah.
I think going to HBCU has really helped us, because this would not be if it wasn't for Ritza and knowing Dr. Bunyon and all of us, the Morgan connection got together. We made a conscious effort, and we need all of you out there to make a conscious effort and be intentional to support Black businesses, right? If you don't do that, we won't be able to scale. We won't be able to survive. For every dollar you make, for every, you spend 5. By the time I pay the website, and by the time I pay the bank fee and all these other fees. So, every dollar counts. So, you might not like everything, but again, give feedback. We are listening. This is what I need. This is what I'm looking for. And that's the great part of being a Black-owned business, is that we can tailor to you, right? We can continue to grow and make things for you. Dr. Bunyon's going to make sure when you come to our office, you tell her what you like. She's going to make sure she continues. We're doing the same thing in the eyewear space. It's important that we support ourselves and each other. And I think don't underestimate because we're new or we're women or we're Black that we don't know what we're doing. We are the queens of the queen. And we are putting 150% effort into our businesses. We work harder than anybody else I know. As mothers, as wives, as sisters, as colleagues, Black women businesses, they are just thriving. But we need you to thrive. And I think, for everybody out there, you just have to make a conscious effort, be intentional. I want to support Black doctor, a Black eyewear company. I want, we love Gucci and everybody else, but we're just as good, if not better.
Oh, so much better. And I will tell you, the fastest growing segment of businesses in this country are those that are owned by Black women. And it's no mistake, right? It's beautiful. And I'm glad we're able to have this discussion on the 100th episode. And y'all are getting more love on here with your last comments. Let me ask this question as we hold on okay, let me ask this question, which is, I know your best days are still ahead of you. Like, that's my prayer, and I know that in my heart. But what is something that you've accomplished thus far, which you say, like, that was the moment when you said, I'm going to keep going. Like, that was the moment when you said, I'm on the right path. Have you had that moment where you said, aha, that was the whisper of God that said, like, I am going in the right move. Tracy, I'll start with you and then Dr. Bunyon.
Honestly, every day, I think we have so many little wins that we jump for joy for every last one of them. We don't take anything for granted. Yeah. When we first got the line and we got a Black Enterprise article, we freaked out. When we got an Essence placement, we freaked out. We got Forbes, we almost passed out. We're on Saks Online, we lost it. We got Nickelodeon, we were like, oh my God. So, there's so many things. We have celebrities calling us to do private labels. Every day, the mailman delivered the glasses on time. I'm excited. Like, excited. That's right. I'm happy all the time. I'm a type, just happy personality. So I celebrate every win because literally you got to have some lows. Yeah. So if you're not happy that the product came on time or it looked the way you wanted it to, or this person did an article on you, or this Queen Latifah wore our glasses on her show, The Equalizer. I fell off the couch. Wow. So stuff like that. I'm watching Harlem Eat Up, and Marcus Samuelson, who is the restaurateur of Red Rooster, is wearing our Keys to Kenya blue. So every little thing, when Dr. Bunyon says, I want more glasses, I get excited. Everything is a win. Yes. Because every time someone wants us to provide them with our product, I am just excited.
Oh, and that joy in every blessing is what keeps it multiplying. I'm telling you, it is being grateful. Gratitude is like undervalued, and I'm telling you, it's huge. It's a multiplier. So I love what you just said. The mailman coming on time is a time to celebrate.
It's celebration.
It's a celebration. It's a celebration. Dr. Bunyon, what would you say?
Basically the same thing. Hey, the bills are being paid on time. Hallelujah. We're able to open another location. Yes. I never, I guess I didn't think that it would happen then, but one day my husband said, no, let's go look at a space. And I'm like, really? Right now? You want to go look right? Yeah. And we signed the lease right then and there. Yeah. Seeing patients out in public at the grocery store, you're my eye doctor, seeing the kids that are growing up with us who are now in college and they're thinking about going to optometry school. Years ago, we had an intern at our office. Well, she started as an intern, then she became, an office assistant. Now she's an optometrist, a Black optometrist, being that mentor for someone else. We call her our optometry daughter. So, just like Tracy said, it's just every win we try to celebrate.
Yeah, yeah. And I love what your wins being the wins that you create for others, right? The vehicle through which you are helping others win. Let me have I want to make sure we get to this because I want everyone to know how to contact both of you. So give us your .coms, your @ your how to follow you on Instagram, how to get in contact with you. So Tracy, give us all those things for you. We have put them in the chat, but I know some of you are listening on the phone. So I just want to make sure everyone gets the same information.
Yes, we are www.vontelle.com. And our social media handles are Vonte Eyewear. That's Twitter and Instagram. And on Facebook, it's Vonte LLC. But yeah, you can find us, just put in Vonte, put in Fabulous Eyewear, and we'll show up.
Excellent. I love it. I love it. Dr. Bunyon?
And for me, my Instagram and Facebook are pretty easy. It's at Dr. Mesheca, and that's DRMESHECA. You can find us here at the practice, www.specialeyecare.com. But I also have a website of my own, drmesheca.com. Yeah,
I love it. I love it. I do want to say both of you. So tell us, I want in our last minute, if I'm having this issue, when should I come see you, Dr. Bunyon? Like what are all the services you provide to individuals?
So we provide routine eye care, just like you have a physical every year, you should have your eyes examined every year. If you have a painful red eye, if you're thinking about you just want a consultation about whether or not you should have eye surgery. Dry eye, we're getting a lot of patients with dry eye because of screen time being increased. Any issues and one of the biggest things, because it still remains the leading cause of blindness in the world, diabetic eye disease. If you suffer from diabetes or any systemic problems that could affect the blood vessels in your body, you need to see your eye care provider.
Excellent. I love for you to say that because I know people are always wondering, like, when should I see it? When I can't see, when I'm the pages, but there's so many. Every year you should be seeing your eye care professional. Tracy, okay, I've been on your website, Tracy. I haven't figured out which one I'm going where, but can you tell us what we can find on your website? Also, I'd love for you to tell them, I'm not going to spoil it, but the feature that's on your website that is, I think, unique. I've never seen it anywhere else. So go ahead, Tracy.
So we have virtual try-on our website, so you can sit from your computer or your phone and try on every pair of glasses that's there. And it's really exact. It's really perfect. It shows you even the side view when you go side to side. If you're just tired of having a line on your nose, if you get headaches from wearing glasses all day, then you need to come to Vonte Eyewear. We purposely, again, make glasses with a wired bridge so you won't have that line on your nose or those imprints on the side of your nose. We make the temples longer. Again, we have different shaped heads. And when you have a pair of glasses that lay on your lymph nodes, you get headaches after you wear them. So I have a lot of clients who say, I had headaches from wearing glasses all day. You should not have a headache. Your glasses are supposed to be comfortable, lightweight, and they're pretty. So go to the website, do our virtual try on. If you have lines on your nose, you will never have a line on your nose again if you come to us.
Excellent. Tracy, Dr. Bunyon, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on Entrepreneurship Matters. I'm so glad we were able to get you both for the 100th episode. This is such a special episode. It's my last episode of Entrepreneurship Matters, but the Entrepreneurship Matters brand continues. It was always bigger than the moderator. It was always about the entrepreneurs. And so we're going to continue this series. Johns Hopkins is going to continue this series, uplifting amazing entrepreneurs from our community so that they can get into supply chains, that they can get investment, that they can get into the platforms that they so rightfully deserve. And so just been a pleasure. I have to thank the tremendous team that has brought us to the 100th episode. Jackie Bryan has been with us since the very beginning. and has been an amazing, I call her probably the executive producer of this show. She has been phenomenal. We could not have done this without her. Audrey Johnson, she's the executive producer, all sorts of stuff, inspiration, all sorts of things on here. Just has been just rock steady, audacious in her dreams and in her beliefs in this platform, and just so wonderful about continuing to push us forward. And her vision is tremendous. Ritza, without you, like, you brought this brand to a whole different level. And Ritza is our communications manager at Johns Hopkins, but she is just so brilliant and brought us our 2 amazing panelists for our 100th episode, but is just so committed to this work. And Megan Brown, just a ray of light, allow for us to be live on Facebook today, but just a beautiful member of the team who is always willing to pitch in, and an amazing leader in her own right. So I just want to thank you both. Thank everyone for watching, for tuning in, for always being with us. I also want to give a huge shout out to Camry Moses. She's a high school intern who came up with the idea for this program. She worked with us during COVID, and this was her brainchild. And so just so grateful for her and her vision that the conversation between 2 entrepreneurs would inspire people. And she had that vision as a 15-year-old. And so glad we're at the 100th episode. But thank you all for watching. And we'll come back with the next season of Entrepreneurship Matter. Great new host, but great continuing to have wonderful entrepreneurs. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Dr. Bunyon. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.